Thank you for joining me today. Hi, I am Zari, Subliminal Coach, ASMR artist, and womb coach and healer. So I've decided to create my first altar, and it has a theme. I am creating a feminine energy altar now. If you are not familiar with the purpose of an altar, the dictionary states that an altar is just a structure, table, or platform where spiritual rituals, prayers, offering, offerings take place. I thought about the best representation of feminine energy, and the first thing that came to mind was floral design and resin. And all of a sudden I got the idea. I said, why don't I use flowers, dried flowers, fake petals, maybe from Hobby Lobby, and pair them with my crochet floral work in resin? The idea was brilliant. It came together, and that's how I started on this resin project, and it is absolutely beautiful. Can't wait for you all to see it once finished. I crocheted this beautiful lace, lavender and white fuchsia. I thought it would be an excellent piece of excellence, elegance to add to the resin work. Fuchsia flowers can represent trust, elegance, deep love, and resilience. I've been longing to develop a sense of trust with myself on a deeper level. I believe this level of trust is connected to my womb and feminine space. I've been working spiritually to remove unhealed generational toxicity of the womb. I burned this candle for 7 days, the one on your screen, recently while the moon was waning. How the candle burned was rather interesting. Excuse me again. I just got over bronchitis and I still have a little congestion here and there, but it's pretty much gone. How this candle burned. First of all, it says, break unwanted, unhealthy, toxic generational womb cycles. Burn clear now is what it says on the front. And I started burning this candle, and it was rather interesting because when it first burned, I believe this was the first day that it burned, this picture right here. If you can, I want you to stop the video and allow yourself to analyze the picture, and you tell me what you see whenever you look at this photo. Right now, I'm gonna give you a few minutes before I tell you what I see. I see a crescent moon, and this is very fascinating because when I lit this candle intentionally on the 14th of April because on the 14th, that was a day that the moon was waning. So if you're trying to do any type of spiritual work that is dealing with candle magic or candle work or fire or any type of work that requires you to remove blockages out of your life or cycles that are toxic, you want to possibly do it under a waning moon, because waning means that things are going down, regressing, or discouraging. You're discouraging the growth of things or discouraging the progression of things. So you want to discourage toxic cycles or toxic habits. You need to start burning things under a waning moon, not necessarily a waxing moon. So when the candle burned this way and I saw that crescent moon inside the wax, I knew that this intention was working. And I just let it burn for 7 days. I stopped the candle. I snuffed it out whenever I would go to sleep or whenever I left the home. And then I would light it every day for 7 days. And it burned down. The whole candle was gone. But the only thing I saw was the top is clear and there's just a little bit of soot at the top. Now that might have been because whenever I would light it, I would put that incense down there and light that candle again as it went all the way down to the glass at the bottom. And I might have accidentally touched it with the fire, and that might have caused soot. But then again, I think, or I look at everything, even though they tell you everything isn't a sign, I consider it a sign. So it has soot just a little bit at that top rim, and then towards, the top is clear besides the soot. And then towards that middle, there's circles, perfect line circles. Now I can't remember how many perfect or unbroken circles there are, but it's quite a few, but not that many. And usually the circles represent the progression of the work or a timeline for something. So I consider it maybe a timeline to when this type of spiritual work to cleanse my womb cycles of any blockages or any toxicity will work within that time frame, if that makes sense. And after those circles, there's a couple more circles, but they're broken, so those don't matter. And if you look at it, there's like a huge hole where you can see inside the candle. And then there is, a clear loop or a clear hole. And then there's a few, I say about 2 dots of soot. Now that could have possibly came from the fire hitting the glass as I continued to put it down there to burn that wick so the candle could come on. But like I said, I believe everything is a sign, And towards the end, it burned, and there are quite a few wax here that's not circles or progression of the work on the inside of the candle, and then there's like an opening where it burned all the way down. And I just think that means, yes, this is going to happen for you. We are clearing the way, Spirit is clearing the way, but there is some more work on my end to fix. So I got to continue the practice of cleansing and clearing out my womb in order for this to work, in order for me to heal my lineage of toxic womb cycles, in order to break curses, to break generational trauma. I have to do that in that way. So that's what it said to me. It was very fascinating how it burned. And I said all that to say I will definitely be conducting this type of work on my feminine altar, and I would advise you to do the same whenever you are conducting this type of work. Consider creating a feminine altar to conduct this work on, and your prayer work regarding your lineage and breaking curses, because your feminine energy is very important, because without feminine energy attracts things like money, relationships, positive relationships, good ones, and anything that's attractive, it attracts. So if your feminine energy is out of whack, something is very wrong there. Something might be holding you back. Maybe it is a cycle, a toxic womb cycle. Maybe something in your lineage is not healed, and maybe that's why you are unable to attract things. So let's get our altars together and let's start that work that we need to do in order to be more feminine or attract things.